Not every wedding begins with love. Some weddings are built on lies, betrayal, and secrets that have been waiting for the right moment to be revealed. On what was supposed to be the happiest day of Sonia's life, her younger sister Ara stood quietly at the side of the church, wearing the maid of honor dress while holding back tears caused by a painful truth. The man her sister was about to marry was the same man who once promised that he would love Ara forever. But Ara chose to remain silent. She chose to surrender her own happiness as payment for all the sacrifices Sonia had made for her. What she did not know, she was not the only woman Jonas had deceived. And before the ceremony could end, a woman and an innocent child would enter the church and destroy every lie he had built. Because that wedding would not lead to a lifetime of marriage. It would lead to an arrest and to a revelation that would forever change the lives of two sisters. Ara stood quietly outside an old church in Cebu. She was wearing a dusty rose bridesmaid dress, but her appearance looked more like that of someone mourning rather than celebrating. Inside the church, the man she loved was waiting for the arrival of his future wife. But it was not Ara who would walk toward him. The woman destined to stand beside Jonas was Sonia, the older sister who had sacrificed almost her entire life just to raise her. So even though Ara felt her heart slowly breaking apart, she chose to remain silent. She chose to give up the man she loved. But she did not know that wedding was not a celebration of love. It was a trap. And before the day ended, a secret would be revealed that would destroy Jonas's true identity. 3 months before the wedding, 15 years before that day, the two sisters held hands inside a dim hospital room. Ara was only 10 years old at the time. Sonia was 20. In front of them, their mother was struggling to breathe after a tragic accident. With the little strength she had left, their mother held Sonia's hand and placed it over young Ara's hand. She no longer had the strength to say many words, but her final request was clear. Take care of your sister. Do not abandon Ara. With tears streaming down her face, Sonia nodded. She did not know how she would raise the two of them alone, but that night, she promised to set aside everything for her younger sister. After their parents were buried, the sisters returned to a home that suddenly felt painfully quiet. There was no longer a mother preparing their meals, no longer a father waiting for them at the door. At a young age, Sonia was forced to become a parent to her own sister. Every night, she waited until Ara fell asleep before silently crying. She was afraid she would not be strong enough, afraid she would fail the promise she made. But whenever she looked at her sleeping sister, she remembered that Ara had no one else but her. So Sonia chose to become stronger, even when she had no idea where she would find the strength. As Ara grew older, there was hardly a day when Sonia did not work. During the day, she went to the office. At night, she took additional jobs to earn extra income. Many times, she chose not to buy new clothes. Many nights, coffee was the only meal she had. The money that should have been spent on her own needs, she placed inside the envelope reserved for Ara's tuition. Sonia never showed her sister how difficult life had become. Whenever Ara asked, she would simply smile and say everything was fine, because for Sonia, her sister's future was the greatest dream she had. Many years later, the day Sonia had been waiting for finally arrived. Ara stood in the middle of the university grounds, holding her diploma. When she saw her sister among the guests, she immediately ran toward her. She hugged Sonia tightly. Ara knew that her graduation was not only the result of her own effort. Behind that diploma were every sleepless night Sonia endured, every meal Sonia skipped, and every dream she sacrificed. As Sonia cried tears of happiness, she believed she had finally fulfilled the last promise she made to their parents. Perhaps now, it was time for her to think about her own happiness. Sonia did not know that Ara had been hiding a secret from her. For more than 2 years, Ara had been in a relationship with a man named Jonas. He came from a poor family, but to Ara, his status in life did not matter. Jonas was kind whenever they were together. He always made her laugh, and every moment they spent together made Ara feel like she was the most important woman in the world. One evening by the seaside, Jonas placed a simple bracelet around Ara's wrist. It was not expensive, but to Ara, it was a promise that they would never leave each other. As they watched the waves, Jonas held both of Ara's hands. He told her that the day would come when they would no longer need to hide. Once he had saved enough money, he would face Sonia and ask for Ara's hand in marriage. Ara believed every word. To her, Jonas was the man she would build a family with, the man who would give her the home she lost when her parents died. She never questioned his promises. She never noticed the brief moments when Jonas avoided her eyes. Because when someone is in love, they often see only what they want to believe. A few weeks after Ara's graduation, Jonas found a job that offered him a higher salary. He was hired as a driver for a large corporation in Cebu City. His income was much higher than that of an ordinary driver. He also received additional benefits and allowances. For Jonas, it was an opportunity to escape poverty. He promised Ara that he would save money for their future. But there was one thing neither of them expected. The executive he would be assigned to drive was none other than Sonia, the older sister of the woman he secretly loved. On Jonas's first day at work, he was immediately called outside the building. A few moments later, Sonia walked out of the main entrance. She was professionally dressed. Her posture was confident, and it was obvious that she was used to leading employees. When Jonas was introduced as her new driver, the young man showed no sign of surprise. But inside, he knew that one wrong word could expose his relationship with Ara. Sonia had no idea. To her, Jonas was simply another employee she needed to manage. While driving Sonia to her first meeting, Jonas repeatedly looked at her through the rearview mirror. He wondered if Ara had ever mentioned their relationship. He wondered if Sonia had already seen his photos. But the woman was only focused on reading documents. She showed no sign that she recognized him. Jonas quietly felt relieved. However, he decided not to tell Ara that Sonia was his new employer. He did not want her to give up a job that paid well. And most importantly, he did not want to lose the opportunity that could completely change his life. In the following weeks, Jonas did everything he could to impress Sonia. He arrived early every day. The car was always spotless, and he never complained. even when their meetings lasted until late at night. Whenever there were heavy documents to carry, he volunteered to handle them. Whenever it rained, he immediately opened an umbrella for his employer. Slowly, Sonia began noticing his dedication. She was not used to having a man take care of her in that way. For many years, she was always the one taking care of everyone else. Now, there was someone who seemed willing to take care of her. One evening, after a long meeting, Sonia saw Jonas quietly waiting beside the vehicle. His sleeves were soaked from the heavy rain. Yet, when he saw her, he still smiled and immediately opened the car door. At that moment, Sonia felt a strange warmth inside her. She had been without a partner for many years. She had also refused to allow herself to become close to anyone. But in Jonas's simple smile, she felt like she was still a woman. Not just an older sister, not just a boss, and not just someone who always had to be strong. One evening, Sonia and Ara were having dinner together at home. Sonia looked happier than usual. Ara noticed her sister secretly smiling while looking at her phone. She teased Sonia, asking if someone was making her happy. Sonia did not answer immediately, but after a few moments, she admitted that there was a man she was slowly starting to like. Ara became extremely happy. Finally, she thought, someone would give her sister the love and care she deserved. She did not know the man Sonia was talking about was the same man who told Ara every day that she was the only woman he loved. Ara asked who the lucky man was, but Sonia only laughed. She said she would introduce him at the right time. She described him as handsome, kind, hardworking, and respectful toward women. He was only a few years younger than her, but that did not matter to Sonia. Ara laughed and reminded her sister to make sure that the man was truly single. She did not understand why Sonia's expressions suddenly changed for a moment. But after that, her sister smiled again and said she would never allow herself to become someone who stole another woman's husband or boyfriend. The next day, Ara talked to Jonas about the man her sister liked. She expected him to be happy for Sonia, but Jonas became unusually quiet. He avoided her eyes. He said he simply had many things on his mind because of work. He did not tell Ara that he had already gone out for dinner with Sonia several times after meetings. He did not tell her that their conversations had slowly become more personal. And most importantly, he did not tell her that he had discovered Sonia's savings and properties registered under her name. In Jonas's mind, more opportunities could open if his employer trusted him. One evening, after a successful company deal, Sonia invited Jonas to dinner. She said it was not a formal meeting. It was simply her way of thanking him for his excellent work. At first, Jonas remained polite and careful. But as the night continued, he slowly shared stories about his difficult family situation. He said his father was sick, and almost all of his salary went toward medical expenses. Sonia felt sympathy for him. She saw Jonas as a son who was willing to sacrifice for his family. She did not know the story about his sick father was only one of the many lies he had prepared. A few days later, Sonia handed Jonas an envelope. Inside was money that she said he could use for his father's treatment. At first, Jonas pretended to refuse. He said he felt embarrassed accepting help from his employer. But when Sonia insisted, he accepted the money. Sonia was deeply touched when she saw him pretending to hold back tears. To Sonia, she had helped a devoted son. To Jonas, it was proof that he could gain her trust and access her resources. And for the first time, he began wondering how far his deception could take him. One evening, a major company deal failed. Sonia was devastated. She felt that all her efforts were not enough. After the meeting, they stopped at a quiet hotel to rest before traveling home. That night, Sonia showed Jonas her vulnerability for the first time. She admitted that she was tired of always being strong, tired of putting everyone else's needs before her own. Jonas approached her. He held her hand, and in a moment, filled with sadness and confusion, Sonia allowed emotions she had buried for years to take over. The next morning, Sonia woke up filled with guilt and confusion. She knew they had crossed the boundaries between an employer and an employee. But instead of distancing himself, Jonas told her that he had also developed feelings for her. He said their age difference did not matter, and Sonia's position in the company was not an obstacle. Through those words, Sonia felt that what Jonas gave her was not only sympathy. She felt that there was finally a man who truly chose her. She did not know that while Jonas was saying those words, a message from Ara was waiting on her phone. From that moment, Jonas lived two different lives. When he was with Ara, he told her he was doing everything for their future. When he was with Sonia, he told her that he had finally found a woman who understood him. He held both of their hands. He gave both of them hope, and he made both women believe that they were the only one he loved. The sisters had no idea that the same man was the reason behind their secret happiness. Meanwhile, Jonas's lies continued growing until the day came when he could no longer hide the two worlds he had created. One evening, after dinner, Jonas brought Sonia home. Before she could enter the house, he suddenly knelt under the garden lights. He took out a simple ring. He told her that he was ready to build a family with her. Sonia could not believe it. For years, she thought her chance to love and be loved had already passed. But there was Jonas, looking at her as if she was the only woman in the world. With tears of happiness, Sonia accepted the ring. She did not know that the money Jonas used to buy it came from the money she gave him for his supposed father's medical treatment. The next day, Sonia could not hide her happiness. She kept looking at the ring on her finger. That evening, she told Ara that she was officially getting married. Ara immediately hugged her sister. Her happiness was genuine. Sonia deserved a man who would love and care for her. She wanted to see her sister finally have a family of her own. She never imagined that the man Sonia accepted was the same man who had promised to marry her. And the next day, Sonia would introduce that man to their home. Exactly at 7 o'clock that evening, the doorbell of their house rang. Sonia was busy preparing dinner, so Ara was asked to open the door. Happily, she walked toward the entrance. She was excited to finally meet the man who gave her sister new hope. But when the door opened, it felt as if the entire world stopped. Standing in front of her was Jonas. He was holding a large bouquet of red roses. Ara could not move. She could not speak, because, in that single moment, she finally understood who the man her sister was going to marry truly was. When Ara saw Jonas, the strength left her hand. The glass she was holding slipped and fell. It crashed onto the floor, breaking into pieces. Hearing the sound, Sonia immediately came from the kitchen. She asked if her sister was hurt, but the broken glass was not what wounded Ara. The real pain was seeing the fear in Jonas's eyes. He was not shocked because he saw her there. He was shocked because, finally, the two women he had deceived were standing in the same place. Still, Ara forced herself to smile. She did not want to destroy her sister's happiness without knowing the entire truth. Sonia happily approached Jonas. She took the flowers from him and hugged him. Then, she turned to Ara. With pride and happiness, she introduced Jonas as the man she was going to marry. Jonas could not look directly at the woman he had secretly promised to marry. Meanwhile, Ara forced herself to stay strong. She said she was happy to meet the man her sister had chosen. But as she spoke those words, she felt like she was burying her own heart. And when she saw the ring on Sonia's finger, she realized this was not just simple betrayal. Jonas had built an entire life behind her trust. At the dinner table, Sonia sat beside Jonas. From time to time, she even fed him. Every smile from her sister felt like a knife piercing Ara's heart. She could not understand how Jonas could sit there between them. She could not understand which one of them he truly loved, or if he had ever truly loved anyone. In the middle of dinner, Sonia announced that their wedding would happen in only 3 months. Ara looked at Jonas. She hoped he would speak. She hoped he would finally confess. But he remained silent. And in that silence, Ara received the answer she feared the most. When Sonia finally fell asleep, Ara quietly left the house. Jonas was waiting at a dark corner nearby. The moment she reached him, she slapped him. She asked how long he had been in a relationship with her sister. At first, Jonas said it was only a mistake. But when Ara pressured him, he admitted that he and Sonia had been together several times. He said he never planned it. He said he was afraid of losing his job. But for Ara, no explanation was enough to erase the betrayal. Because while Jonas was promising marriage to her, he was secretly taking away her sister's heart. Jonas tried to explain himself. He said he needed the job. He needed to help his family, and Sonia was the only person who could provide the money they needed. But when Ara asked if he truly loved her sister, Jonas could not answer immediately. Instead, he said Ara was still the woman he truly loved. He begged her to run away with him. He promised he would leave the job, leave Sonia, and start over somewhere else. But at that moment, Ara finally saw Jonas's true character. He was willing to destroy anyone as long as he could save himself. Ara remembered all of Sonia's sacrifices, the nights her sister stayed awake, the times Sonia refused to buy things for herself just to pay for Ara's education, and the promise Sonia made to their parents. She could not become the reason her sister would be hurt again. So, Even though she loved Jonas deeply, she ended their relationship. She told him she no longer loved him, but as she walked away, her tears silently fell. She did not give up Jonas because her love was weak. She gave him up because her love for her sister was stronger. From that day forward, Ara avoided Jonas. But she could not escape the wedding preparations. She was the one Sonia brought along to choose the dress. She helped select the flowers and invitations. With every decision, Sonia happily asked if her choices looked beautiful. And every time, Ara forced herself to smile. Her sister did not know that every white flower, every piece of fabric being measured, and every wedding detail felt like a funeral for a love that would never have the chance to survive. One midnight, Sonia woke up because she heard faint sobbing coming from Ara's room. She slowly walked toward the door. She did not knock. Through the small opening, she saw her sister sitting on the floor while holding the simple bracelet, the bracelet Jonas had given her. Sonia did not know why, but she suddenly felt an uneasy feeling. She had known Ara for her entire life. She knew every smile and every silence. She knew her sister was hiding a deep pain. And for the first time, she began questioning the man she was about to marry. The next day, while cleaning Ara's room, a box fell from the top of the bed. It opened, and several old photographs spilled out. Among them was a picture of Ara and Jonas embracing by the seaside. The date on the photo showed that it was taken 2 years before Sonia even met him. Behind the picture, there was a handwritten message, "For the woman I will marry someday. I love you, Ara." When Sonia read those words, it felt like all the air disappeared from the room. The man she was about to marry had already been her sister's boyfriend for years. Sonia did not confront Ara immediately. Instead, she called Jonas into her private office. She placed the photograph on the table. The moment Jonas saw it, his face turned pale. Sonia asked how long he and Ara had been together. "More than 2 years," Jonas admitted. She asked why he never told her the truth. He said he was afraid of losing his job. But Sonia was hurt even more when she asked him who he truly loved. Jonas remained silent, and in that silence, Sonia understood that love was not the reason he chose her. Jonas told Sonia that he still wanted to marry her. He said he was ready to take responsibility for everything. But Sonia looked at him coldly. She asked whether he wanted to marry her because he loved her, or because he knew about her savings, insurance, and properties under her name. Once again, Jonas had no answer. For the first time, Sonia no longer saw the kind and hard-working man she thought she loved. She saw someone searching for the easiest way out of poverty. A man willing to use her feelings, and even use her own sister. But instead of immediately canceling the wedding, Sonia decided to discover how deep his lies truly went. As the head of human resources, Sonia had the ability to review Jonas's records. Quietly, she requested assistance from the legal and audit departments. She did not reveal the real reason. She only said that she had noticed inconsistencies in an employee's records. One by one, They examined the documents, addresses, family information, receipts, and financial requests. Soon, the first major lie was uncovered. Some of Jonas's submitted documents were fake, and the money he claimed was for his father's medical treatment had never reached any hospital. After a thorough audit review, they discovered that Jonas had altered several receipts. There were fuel expenses that did not match actual trips. There were vehicle repair costs that never happened. And there was money missing from company allowances. He had not only deceived the hearts of 2 women, he had also stolen from the company that provided him with a good salary. But that was not the most painful discovery. In an old document from his previous employment, there was the name of a woman Jonas had never mentioned, Elena Ramos. The document stated, wife. Using the address from the old document, Sonia traveled to Bohol. There, she found a simple house on the edge of town. A woman opened the door. Her face showed exhaustion, but there was still dignity in the way she carried herself. When Sonia showed her Jonas's photograph, tears immediately formed in the woman's eyes. She introduced herself as Elena. She said she had been married to Jonas for 3 years, and it had already been more than a year since he left them to work in Cebu. Inside the house, a young boy was also looking at the photograph of his father. From inside the house, a 4-year-old boy named Miguel walked closer. He was holding an old toy. When he saw Jonas's photograph, he happily pointed at the man and called him Daddy. With that simple word, the last remaining doubts disappeared from Sonia's mind. Jonas did not only have a legal wife, he also had a child who had been waiting for his father to return. Elena explained that Jonas only sent money occasionally. Most of the time, he disappeared for months without explanation. She also revealed that Jonas had developed a gambling problem before he left. That was when Sonia finally understood where the money she gave him had truly gone. Sonia told Elena everything. Jonas's relationship with Ara, his courtship with Sonia, and their upcoming wedding. Elena was hurt, but her anger was stronger than her shame. She had wanted to hold Jonas accountable for a long time, but she never had enough money or knowledge to pursue him. Sonia suggested that they keep their meeting a secret from Jonas. They would allow the wedding preparations to continue. They would let him believe that his plan had succeeded. And on the day he thought he would finally gain Sonia's life and wealth, he would face the wife he abandoned. When Sonia returned to Cebu, she pretended that she knew nothing. She even made Jonas believe she was more excited than ever to marry him. She let him choose the flowers. They discussed their future home, and she mentioned that she could add his name to some of her properties after the wedding. Jonas's eyes immediately lit up. He could not hide his excitement. At that moment, Sonia finally confirmed his true intention. He never loved her. From the beginning, he was only after the money and security she could provide. But while Jonas celebrated what he believed was his victory, the day of his downfall was getting closer. As the wedding drew closer, Ara noticed a change in her older sister. Sonia was no longer as affectionate toward Jonas. She was quieter more often. And sometimes, Ara caught Sonia giving the young man a sharp, suspicious look. Ara assumed she was simply nervous about the approaching wedding. She had no idea that her sister already knew the whole truth. Many times, Ara thought about confessing. But whenever she saw Sonia's ring, her courage disappeared. She felt she had no right to destroy the happiness of the woman who had sacrificed everything for her. A few days before the wedding, Sonia told Jonas that she wanted them to make an agreement regarding their property. She suggested that they keep their finances separate after the wedding. The young man's expression changed immediately. He asked why Sonia did not trust him. He even pretended to be hurt. But behind those words, his anger and disappointment were obvious. A moment later, Sonia took back what she had said and told him she had only been testing him. Jonas smiled again, but for Sonia, there was no doubt left. The man standing before her was not a man in love. He was a predator waiting for the chance to profit. The night before the wedding, Ara sat quietly in her room. In front of her was the dress she would wear as maid of honor. She held an old photograph of herself and Jonas. Perhaps this was the last night she could still call their memories her own. The next day, the man who had once promised to marry her would become her sister's husband. She did not know how she would face the ceremony, but she had made up her mind. She would not speak. She would do nothing that might humiliate Sonia. And after the wedding, she would leave Cebu and start over somewhere else. On the morning of the wedding, the sisters stood together in the bridal preparation room. Sonia was already wearing her white wedding gown. Ara, meanwhile, wore her pink maid of honor dress. Before they went out, Sonia took her sister's hand. Then she asked her directly, "Do you love Jonas?" Ara turned pale. She tried to avoid the question, but Sonia told her that this time, the only thing she needed to hear was the truth. Ara could no longer hold back her tears. She admitted that she and Jonas had been in a relationship for a long time, but she had chosen to give him up because she did not want to take away her sister's happiness. Sonia quietly listened to her sister's confession. Then, she wiped Ara's tears away. She told her that Ara did not have to repay the sacrifices she had made for her. She had not raised her so that Ara would surrender her own happiness simply out of a sense of obligation. Ara was her sister. She was not a debt that had to be repaid. Ara cried even harder. She apologized, but Sonia told her that both of them had simply been deceived by the same man. She did not explain her entire plan. She only told Ara to trust her. And no matter what happened inside the church, Ara must not leave her side. The church bells rang, the great doors opened, and the bridal music began to play. At the end of the aisle, Jonas stood before the altar. He wore a black suit and a confident smile. He believed that in only a few minutes, Sonia's life and wealth would be legally tied to him. Sonia slowly walked toward the altar. Ara followed behind her. With every step, Sonia remembered every lie told by the man waiting for her. But her face remained calm, because that ceremony was not going to be her wedding. It was the beginning of Jonas being held accountable. The ceremony began. The guests listened quietly. When the priest reached the part where he asked whether there was any reason the marriage should not proceed, Sonia suddenly spoke. "There is," everyone began whispering. Jonas turned toward her. In a low voice, he asked what she was doing, but Sonia did not answer immediately. Instead, she faced the guests, and in a clear voice, she said the wedding could not continue because the man standing beside her already had a legal wife. Before Jonas could say anything, the large church doors opened. Elena walked in. She wore a simple dark blue dress. In one hand, she held her marriage certificate. In the other, she held young Miguel's hand. When Jonas saw them, all the color drained from his face. He could no longer hide his fear. Meanwhile, Elena walked quietly down the center aisle. She was not there to take her husband back. She was there to remind him that he could not spend his whole life running away from the family he had abandoned. As they approached the altar, Miguel recognized the man standing beside Sonia. Suddenly, he let go of his mother's hand. The little boy ran forward happily. "Daddy!" His cry echoed throughout the church. Everyone froze. Ara turned toward Jonas. At last, she saw the greatest secret of the man she had loved. He had not only cheated on her, he had not only deceived Sonia, he had a wife and child whom he had abandoned. And while he was promising a new family to two different women, there was a child who had been waiting a long time for his own father to return. The company's lawyer approached the altar. Several police officers who had been waiting at the back of the church came with him. One by one, the charges Jonas would face were named: document forgery, fraudulent company expenses, obtaining money through deception, and attempting to marry while still legally married to someone else. Jonas tried to deny everything. He said that he and Elena had been separated for a long time. But the lawyer showed the marriage certificate. There had been no annulment, no legal separation, and there was no room left for another lie. At the altar, he thought, would give him a new life. Every one of his plans began to collapse. As the handcuffs were placed on him, Jonas suddenly called out to Era. He told her that she was still the one he truly loved. He begged her to believe him. He said he had done everything only to escape poverty. But this time, Era no longer saw the man who had once promised to marry her. She saw the man who had used her love, the man who had exploited Sonia's kindness, and the man who had abandoned his own wife and child. She quietly stepped closer. She looked him directly in the eyes and told him that Jonas had never loved her. He had only loved whatever he could get from them. Before he was taken out of the church, Jonas turned towards Sonia. Angrily, he accused her of using him. He said she had continued with the wedding, even though she already knew the whole truth. But Sonia looked at him calmly. "I didn't use you," she replied. "I simply let you believe that you had won." At those words, Jonas finally fell silent. He knew he no longer had control over the women he had deceived for so long. They were no longer afraid of his lies. They were no longer waiting for his love. And most of all, they were no longer willing to save him from the consequences of his own actions. After Jonas was taken away, the guests slowly began to leave. Sonia and Ara remained in one part of the church. Ara apologized for hiding her relationship with Jonas. Sonia also apologized for not seeing her sister's pain sooner. She admitted that she and Jonas truly had been in a relationship, and that was a mistake she would carry with her for a long time. But she said they did not have to let shame dictate their lives. They had both been deceived. They had both been hurt. But they did not have to become enemies because of a man who did not know how to love. In front of the altar, the sisters embraced each other tightly. Several months later, Jonas faced the charges filed by the company and by his legal wife. Meanwhile, Sonia helped Elena find a job in Cebu. She did not want Elena to remain dependent on the man who had neglected them for so long. Elena began working in a small office. Miguel gradually adjusted to his new life with his mother. It was not easy to forget everything that had happened. But with each passing day, Elena learned that she did not have to wait for Jonas to return in order for their family to be whole. Her son was her family, and her own courage would give them a future. Ara accepted the job in Manila that she had refused for so long. Before, she had not wanted to move far away from Sonia, but after everything that happened, she understood that she also needed to build a life of her own. At the airport, she hugged her sister tightly. She asked whether Sonia would be all right on her own. Sonia smiled. She said that she had taken care of Ara for a long time. Now it was time for Sonia to learn how to take care of herself. It did not mean they would become distant as sisters. It only meant that both of them were finally ready to live without being bound by fear, obligation, or false love. As Ara walked toward her departure gate, she touched the simple bracelet Jonas had given her once more. For a long time, she had considered it a symbol of a promise, but now it was only a reminder of a lie. She stopped beside a trash bin. She removed the bracelet from her wrist, and for the first time, she felt no regret, because she had learned that love is not measured by how much pain you are willing to endure, nor do you have to surrender yourself to prove your love for another person. Sometimes, the bravest kind of love is choosing to walk away. When Sonia returned home, the entire house was quiet. For the first time in many years, there was no sister she needed to wait for. There was no fiancé she needed to trust. Silence could feel lonely, but she discovered that it could also feel peaceful. She removed the ring Jonas had given her. She placed it on the table, not as a reminder of a failed wedding, but as a reminder that even a strong and intelligent woman can make mistakes, and that mistake did not have to become the end of her life. Before going upstairs to her room, Sonia looked at an old photograph of their parents. Beside it was a picture of her and Ara on graduation day. Only then did she realize she had not failed the promise she had made to their mother. She had cared for Ara. She had given her an education, and when the greatest danger to both of them arrived, she chose to save not only her sister, but herself as well. Sonia smiled as she gently touched the photograph. She knew that wherever their parents were, they would not have wanted sacrifice for their daughters. They would have wanted a life of freedom, dignity, and genuine love. 1 year later, Ara stood on the balcony of her small apartment in Manila. She had a new job. She had a life of her own. And little by little, she was learning to love herself without depending on anyone else. She had not completely forgotten Jonas. There were still nights when the pain returned, but it no longer controlled her future. She called Sonia. On the other end of the line, her sister happily told her about her own new plans. Both of them had moved forward, not as women who had been abandoned or deceived, but as women who had chosen to rebuild themselves. For a long time, Ara believed that the wedding that never happened was the greatest tragedy of their lives. But eventually, she understood that it was actually the day that saved them all. Sonia was saved from a man who wanted nothing but her money. Elena and Miguel were saved from endless waiting and deception. And most of all, Ara was saved from spending a lifetime loving a man who was incapable of being faithful. Not every wedding that fails to happen is a failure. Sometimes, the door that closes before the altar is the very door that opens the way to freedom. Because true love does not demand deception, betrayal, or the surrender of your self-worth. And a family that truly loves one another cannot be destroyed by a man who lives on lies. In the end, the greatest victory was not reclaiming the wealth that was lost. It was discovering the truth, finding strength after betrayal, and realizing that no amount of money can replace genuine loyalty and love. Sometimes, the person everyone underestimates is the one who holds the greatest power. And that was the moment everything changed. The people who once looked down on him finally realized his true identity. But the biggest lesson was not about wealth or revenge. It was about trust, forgiveness, and knowing your own worth. Because sometimes, the quietest person in the room is the one with the biggest story to tell. If you like this story, please like and subscribe to this channel, Chronicles of Love, for more exciting and romantic love story in the future. Thank you.